Oh, so tired. Oh, hey, there you go. Good morning, everybody. I just woke up, and it's Memorial Day weekend. Ooh, my shirt's all messed up. Um, there's nothing much right now, and I haven't seen the Flash movie. Whoop, let's turn this off. The ads are playing. Um, and I figured I want to talk this or discuss this topic, while it's the long, uneventful Memorial weekend, and this was happening. A past few days ago. You may have heard it. Netflix. Why did I put my channel back in here? Okay, here you go. Netflix. Where is it? There you go. And let me put it on my. Do. Can you go? There you go. Okay. So Netflix is cracking down on password sharing. You guys can see it, right? All right, good. And I'm reading off of IGN, so you guys know what's going on, Rama. I have Netflix. How does this apply to me? So basically, what Netflix is doing is that if you share your password with friends who are outside of your household or family members who have moved out of your household, then um, they would have to pay a certain amount of payment because you can't do that anymore. You can't share with them anymore. Now, do other streaming service platforms allow you to share password with extended family members outside of your household or friends outside of your household? Yes, they do. But here's the difference. Other streaming service platforms, even though they tell you, you can't do that, you're not allowed to do that, they're not enforcing it. They don't have any rule or mechanism of enforcing it. So if they, for example, live in Maryland, your friend or family member, and they and you share your password with them, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna watch Netflix using Rama's password. Not Netflix. I'm sorry, Peacock, for example. Peacock, they can do so because Peacock doesn't have mechanism or any way of telling my friend in Baltimore, Maryland, it's like, oh, you're not allowed to access Rama's Peacock streaming service. Whereas Netflix now can do that. um, but here's the thing. I read this off of IGN. So Prime Video made fun of Netflix password sharing crackdown because back ways away, Netflix tweeted. Let me see here. Let me get myself a. Netflix tweeted that true love is sharing a password, or love is sharing a password. So basically, back in the day, Netflix was for or supported password sharing. So Prime Video UK retweeted that and kind of pointed out Netflix hypocrisy. Basically, Prime Video is like, hey, you guys said this back in the day. Now you guys are against it. Hypocrisy. Like I said, other streaming service platforms may also have the same rule, but they don't enforce it. I don't have Prime Video. Maybe you guys can tell me. But according to this tweet, it seems that Prime Video allows password sharing, no matter the distance, no matter the place, family members or not, extended friends or not, because they are pointing out Netflix's hypocrisy when this rule came about this past few days ago, May 25th. So that's funny, in my opinion. Why is this Twitter like? Oh, here you go, here you go. So it's a better look at the Twitter. So here's maybe a better way of understanding this new rule by Netflix. So if you have Netflix, let's see here. This is a video that could help you a little bit better. If my internet would just work. Nope, my internet's not working. Okay, so anyway, Um, how do I feel about this? It doesn't affect me as much because I never actually shared password to begin with. Um, my friends, my friends, my family members are in Indonesia and they have their own Netflix Indonesia account. So it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect me. I know it affects a lot of people that like have family members probably that moved out of the house because they went to college to another state, for example, right? So that definitely affects them. Um, but here's the thing: on the bigger picture, or on a deeper level, whatever you want to choose, it goes to show the confusion that people still have about how do streaming services make their money, right? We all wonder like how does Netflix make their money? How the hell is Netflix profitable? How the hell does Peacock, Prime Video, Hulu, Disney Plus, and you may have heard recently that Disney Plus actually lost a lot of money, lost a lot of subscribers. And as the result of that, they had to literally cut and eliminated so many of their contents, so many of their original shows and original movies, like gone, just gone. Because that's what happens in the corporate world when you're not making profit, when you're losing a lot of money, when you're accumulating debt, you got to cut costs. Either cutting labor, which sucks because labor is a cost, not an asset. Um, or in their case, Disney Plus, they cut a lot of contents, like eliminated them. HBO Max used to do that too before they become Max. Just cutting contents, canceling stuff, eliminating stuff. So I guess from their standpoint, from Netflix's standpoint or viewpoint, whatever you call it kind of makes sense for this password sharing crackdown. If the objective is, dude, we gotta make money, we gotta increase profit, we gotta increase profit for our shareholders, because remember, these corporations don't work for us, you and me. They work for their investors and shareholders. And if their numbers are not looking good, so this is their way of like, hopefully, by cracking down password sharing, they can increase subscription, which is one of the things that the way that they make money. The other way, of course, ad supported. Those of you, let me give you here. See, the standard Netflix with ads is $6.99 per month. The basic one without ads is $9.99 per month. Um, so if your cousin or your family member in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, cannot or can no longer share your password, they have to pay the standard. I would assume, um, unless they want to go with the ads one. Now the standard with ads, as I understand it, is kind of like Peacock. I have the most basic Peacock subscription, not the premium one. So I do my Peacock shows come with ads in between. Like there's like 4 ad rolls in one show, for example. So from their standpoint, I get it. I get it. They gotta make money. Corporations are a machine. So these password cracking, share down, whatever you call it, makes sense. Um, but it speaks to the truth that, and it goes with the whole writer strike thing as well that's going on. That there's still confusion as to how the money is made on the streaming service platforms. All right, how the profit is generated on these streaming service platforms compared to how profit and money were generated in the old media back in the day with TV and cable and even as old as newspaper. Back then with the old media, if you recall, um, basically if you have a show and then the advertisement department of that network would kind of like bundle up or sell that to potential advertisers, like, okay, we have this show, Everybody Loves Raymond. It's a 30-minute window show or 25-minute, so we more like 25 or 22. So we have this 8 minute worth of ads, and then we're gonna try to find advertisers that would buy into that show. And this is the ratings. These are the numbers that Everybody Loves Raymond gets on a weekly basis. And so this is the price tag for that show. The same with newspapers. They would have the advertising guy try to sell. Hold here. This is the space. The front column is the most read one compared to the back ones. So this is more expensive column for ads. So there's a mechanism for that back in the day. I don't know how that works in the streaming service platforms. Maybe you guys can enlighten me in that. It goes to the truth that streaming service platforms are really good for consumers. For you and me, we love watching our Netflix without ads. Right? We love watching our Peacock or Hulu without ads. We pay this much and we get them no ads. Um, it's gonna we can watch the show over and over again, right? Over and over again till the end of time. It's good for consumers, but it's not good for artists. And to a certain extent, it's not good for the corporations themselves. It's not good for Netflix themselves. It's not good for Peacock themselves. Cause like they're trying to like, okay, if our subscribers like watching our shows without ads, then we gotta then the way to make more money is to increase subscribers, and the way to do that is to limit how many people can actually share one password, because then that would enforce people to actually get their own subscription instead of you know sharing anti Robinson's password or anti Robinson's Netflix. I don't know why I said anti Robinson. So that's how they're trying to brainstorm ways right now. I guess if you want to use the word brainstorm. But it also goes to what I said about the writer's strike, is because the writers are really pissed off right now, because back in the day with the old media, like I said, not only you have a well-defined and well understood mechanism for advertisement, but in the old media also there's this thing called residual income. So if a show got syndicated, if a show syndicated means, like, for example, Everybody Loves Raymond. I use that example because I love that show. It aired on CBS, right? It was a CBS original show, and of course it ended its run. But then you still see the reruns of those episodes on TBS or TNT. You know what I'm saying? Other channels would pick them up. That's called syndication. And so whenever those episodes aired again, old episodes, the writers and the creator of that show would still get income, would still get paycheck from the advertisement that air on those old episodes. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, what's the writer's name? I think Phil Rosenthal. That's why he's that's why he's doing that shitty travel show on Netflix, because he's like he can basically he's basically wealthy. He lives off of passive income. He lives off of residual income. The paycheck's still coming in from the syndication of Everybody Loves Raymond. But there's no such defined or well understood mechanism for streaming service, because it's not like old media where you have to wait till whenever those reruns air on your TV. On streaming service, like I said, you can watch it whenever you want, or you can watch it over and over again, and that pretty much robs the writers and the artists of their residual income. Because there's no, especially if you are a subscriber that subscribe to Netflix or Peacock or without the ads. That's even like, whoa, then where's our residual income? I had a discussion with my colleague at my workplace the other day, and he said to me, this is why some people don't really understand media. Some people, the rest of us are in a bubble, if you will. And he told me like, Rama, I don't understand. Like, why are they striking? These writers, don't they get paid when they write their script for Hollywood? Like when they that's it, right? Like you write your movie, you write your TV show, and you get paid for the job. So my coworker is thinking like a factory worker, like a warehouse worker. Like you just get in, do your time, do your clock in, clock out at the end of the day, get paid, and go home. But that's bless his heart. But that's not how it works in Hollywood. In Hollywood, they expect residual income or passive income, if you will, which makes sense because it's especially if you create the show. That's intellectual property right there. So there's still so much confusion surrounding how the profit is made, how the money is made, how the profit is generated within the streaming service platforms. I read a tweet by Seth Rogen, I think last week, who also said the same thing. It's like you got to figure out how this money is generated, and then we got to figure out how this money can be redistributed to the writers, to the artists that create this show, that actually wrote this show. So he's right. He's right. And I remember, I think a couple of years ago, there was also this um, kerfuffle. Is that the word I was looking for? I guess I'll just say confusion. Confusion as to how Netflix is profitable. Because they say they're like, oh, we made this much of billions of dollars last year. It's like, but how? Because you Netflix, you bust out like a bunch of shows within a month, and as I understand it, they actually accumulated debt in order to create those shows. And it's like, how are you profitable? So it's just a lot of question marks surrounding this thing. Now, um, I think, which leads me to my next point. The reason why, or one of the reasons why, the writers are angry and a lot of the artists are angry, all right, um, is because they see that these mechanisms are not well defined, are not yet well understood, and the profits are not well redistributed. At the same time, these corporations, or these media corporations, including Netflix, are rewarding their CEOs a bunch of money, including the WB Discovery that gave David Zaslav like $250 million. So that pisses them off, and rightfully so, because like, okay, maybe if you say like, oh, we're not profitable yet, guys, we're not profitable yet. That's why we can't pay you guys writers, living wages. We got to crack down these password sharing, and we got to increase more subscribers. We got to do this first. We got to do this first. Fine, okay, then do them, but at the same time, don't reward your CEOs like millions of dollars. Like, that's hypocritical. Like, you say that you're struggling, and yet you have all this money to give to your CEOs. that's that's kind of fucked up. And it is fucked up. Like, but unfortunately that's the system of our capitalist country, in that the CEOs always get rewarded for cutting costs, for all this stuff, and the shareholders will always reward the CEOs and give them even like golden parachute when they leave the company. It's insane. It's insane. The workers and the artists, the writers, they're the bottom of the hierarchy, and they never get appreciated as much as the CEOs. I Until there's some sort of a federal regulation on like limiting how much the CEOs can make, or maybe enforcing like, okay, so if your company is struggling, then you cannot reward your CEOs this much. You know what I'm saying? Until there's such a regulation saying that, they're gonna keep doing that. Let me show you guys this. I think this is so. Oh yeah, here you go. Former Disney executives. Nope. What is this? Not the. And okay, here you go. There you go. These are the numbers. This is yeah, this is from this past month. This report. So Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav made 246.6 million last year. Endeavor's Ari Emanuel made $308.2 million. So yeah, most of them are in stock. So it's not like WB like just gave David Zaslav, here you go, $246 million in cash. Most of them are in stock. Um, Stock awards and make up the majority of compensation packages, and these awards are typically granted at the beginning of the year. There was much less economic uncertainty to kick off 2022. Therefore, the negative economic impacts, such as cost cutting and employee layoffs, are not necessarily reflected in the value of those stock awards. But still, man, it's the optics. It's the optics that even if you say that to justify their reward, the optics is bad, and people's perception is reality. When these workers are not, or when these workers are struggling to feed their families, and they see that their bosses are getting paid this much, but at the same time their bosses say like, oh, we're not profitable yet, guys, we can't pay you guys yet, that's why we're cracking down on password sharing, we're trying to increase subscribers. Okay, if you say you're struggling like we are struggling, then why are you getting paid millions of dollars? So that's the optics is bad, no matter how much this paragraph is trying to justify it. Um, so going back to my title of this video, does it make sense? It makes sense on the standpoint of the Netflix corporation. They wanna increase subscribers. They wanna make money. That's what corporations do. They are beholden to their shareholders, so they have to keep brainstorming ideas on how to um, uh, uh, increase profit for them. Unfortunately, this time is at the expense of the consumers or us, the subscribers, and the subscription service, blah, 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 streaming service subscription fees. They're gonna increase every year. Next year Peacock's gonna send you a letter saying, "Oh, we're increasing it by this much." Inflation's gonna happen again and again. It's like, so this is the beginning of a very tough time for the consumers as well. Yes, like I said earlier, streaming service is best for consumers because we are enjoying them without ads. We can watch them again and again. It's bad for the writers, bad for the creators of the show, but it's gonna get even bad for us as well. It's gonna get worse even as the years go by, because this password sharing crackdown is only the beginning. They're gonna come up with another idea that's gonna squeeze us even more out of our own pocket, money. So it's just bear that in mind and prepare yourselves for the worst. It's gonna get even tougher from here on out for the consumers, for us. Um, let's see here. I got another. Okay, so here's another paragraph from Vplate. How does Netflix make money? Netflix follows a subscription-based business model and makes money from the following sources: subscriptions, important partnerships, and ad revenue. So those are the three components. Um, Almost 90% of all its revenue, Netflix revenue, $32 billion in 2022, comes from subscriptions and partnerships, while 10% of it comes from advertising. I'm guessing it's because not a lot of people want to subscribe to the standard with ads, where the ads show up in your shows on Netflix. Um, and I get it. People say like, if I want ads, I'll just watch old media. I just watch TV or basic cable. Why do I go to Netflix or Peacock to get ads as well? So I get it. um, and so because only a few people subscribe to this level of subscription, Netflix has to increase their subscribers, and the way to do that is by password sharing crackdown. But it is hypocritical. Back to the Prime Video retweeting Netflix, like it is hypocritical because Netflix, back in the day, Netflix says love is sharing a password. So there's no clear answer right now. It's so streaming service when they say is the future. Yeah, it's the future, but it's a very future that's filled with a lot of uncertainties, um, or well defined, well understood mechanism. And I'll leave you with this video by um, Snoop Dogg, who was on a Q&A, and he went off the script and commented on the writer strike and streaming service business model, and he made a lot of sense. A lot of sense in that, not necessarily providing solution or anything, but made a lot of sense in like, guys, nobody knows how this works. That's why we got to figure out how this works and make sure that the writers get their pay. So let me get this if my internet goes well. Let's see while I'm here. Oh, oh, there you go. Man, sometimes my my backward image goes black, fade black. Okay, here we go. Let me just go back to and make it bigger so you guys can see it. Okay. Boom. Yeah.
That's what's actually those moves are actually what helped to usher in hip hop and make it what it is on streaming today. So from that perspective, I think we're well positioned, with my history at Apple, our ability to plug into physical in the way that we can now, like no other company, just seeing exactly the pie chart of streaming in the United States, streaming globally. It's an exciting time, really it is, I must say,
It's exciting, but streaming got to get their shit together. Because I don't understand how the fuck you get paid off of that shit. Like, I mean, could somebody explain to me how you can get 1 billion streams and not get $1 million?
Boom.
Like, that shit don't make sense to me. Like, I don't know who the fuck running the streaming industry, if you in here or not. But nigga, you need to give us some information on how the fuck to track this money down. Because 1 + 1 ain't adding up to 2. That shit don't add up, and I have to say it. Because that's the main gripe with a lot of us artists is that we do major numbers with streams and this shit, but it don't add up to the money. Like, what the fuck is the money? When I first came out, my records would sell based off of physical. If you sold 1 million copies, that means if $9.99, $9 million, you get this percentage, that's what it is. So if I sell how many streams, how much money do I get? It's not being translated and it's not working for the artist right now. And I just want to speak to that. In the music industry, like, that's fucked up. And we need to find a way to figure that out the same way the writers are figuring out. The writers are striking because streaming, they can't get paid. Because when it's on the platform, it's not like in the box office. In the box office, if it does all these numbers, you may get an up. Oh, it did this many, here's another check. But on streaming, you got 300,000 hours that somebody watched your movie. Where's the money? And I know I'm going off a script right now, but fuck it. This is business.
Yeah.
This is business. You know what I'm saying? This is a room full of business people, and somebody may hear this and be able to do something about it so that way the next artist don't have to struggle or cry or try to figure out how to get to his money. Because some of these artists are streaming millions and millions and millions and millions of fucking streams, and they don't got no millions of dollars in their pocket. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk that talk.
Well, another thing are striking about is AI and the use of AI by the studios to write scripts, let's say.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Drake and The Weeknd. We recently saw, an AI.
Well, so yeah, first of all, on his first point, Snoop Dogg hit it in the head, man. That's exactly like I told you before. The old media, I explained to you guys how the old media made their money and how the creators, writers made their money off of the syndication and the ads from the syndication. So it was well defined, well understood how that works, the mechanism. Streaming service is just a lot of question marks, man, and and Netflix accumulated so many debts, some to just to create the whole bunch of shows in within 1 month, and not giving the profits to the creators and the writers of those shows, and the shows getting binge watched and replayed over and over again on Netflix, um, and they're not getting their passive income, they're not getting residual income. It's like that's their creation, like they're not getting paid for their art. Um, and so now Netflix has to password sharing crackdown into increased subscription, and now the AI thing too. That's another thing that the Hollywood is trying to tap into because um, if they can cut writers completely and just apply AI to provide the scripts, they will do that because that's equal to cutting costs, equal to increasing profit for shareholders. Um, and again, that's the other way. You know, I told you that things are going to get worse for us consumers. They're going to come up with more ideas to make us pay more subscription fee, or or the AI thing. That's another idea too. Like, okay, we're just not going to have writers anymore. We're not going to have writers room at all. So these are the ideas that they're really brainstorming right now, the AI, the password sharing crackdown, because their objective is not necessarily to you know to what's the word I'm looking for, to make us happy or to make the writers happy, but to make the investors happy, to make the shareholders happy. That's their bosses. That's that's why they have their quarterly earning calls or whatever, earning meetings, because that's their basically they're meeting with their bosses. That's like, okay, this is how much money we made this past quarter. It's all short-term goals. So I'm just saying, if you do not like this password sharing crackdown, um, number one, if you see it from their standpoint, from their meaning Netflix standpoint, it kind of makes sense, because they have to make money. And number two, it's gonna get worse from here on out, because they're gonna come up with another idea by next year. In addition to emailing you guys saying, "Hey, we have increased your fee, so by this month you're not gonna pay $7.99; it's gonna be $8.99 or whatever." So on top of that, they're gonna come up with something else. But it still doesn't answer what Snoop Dogg is addressing here. It doesn't answer, like, okay, if your movie on Netflix gets a billion views and watch over and over again, aren't you supposed to also get money from those views, as a writer, as a creator of those movies and shows? So there's some sort of I I hate to say, big government or whatever, but there has to be a regulation that forces streaming service platforms to well define how they make their money and how they can distribute or redistribute that money to the artists. Because otherwise, this is gonna keep going. They're gonna, you know, Netflix and Peacock and Hulu, whatever you want to, throw in there. They're gonna keep profiting off of those billion views without giving the writers and the creators of those shows and movies um, the slice of pie from those billion views or from those binge watch shows and movies. And that's highway robbery. You know that. And we all don't like getting screwed over. None of us do. I'm not a screenwriter and I don't like getting screwed over. So this is something that has to be figured out. And so yeah, I'm going off all the whole writer strike thing, but it does lead to that point, this whole password sharing crackdown thing. So I'm just giving you guys this as a food for thought, and let me know what you think about this. Okay, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you happy with the password sharing crackdown? Do you think other streaming service platforms will follow suit and then, like, follow Netflix and do the same thing? Um, And what do you think about this whole thing about streaming service platforms profit and their CEOs making more money, more money than God, more money than the writers? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I know these are all business stuff. It's not necessarily movie stuff or TV stuff or opinions about escapism. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I wanna hear your thoughts about this. All right. That's it, guys. Have a good long Memorial weekend. Enjoy your Memorial weekend with your loved ones. I don't know what my plans are. I might go to the beach or I might not. All right. Thank you so much. And don't forget, as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's rock this.